Jolene. How are you doing today? I am on my way to the west side to go visit my daughter and my mother. I'd like to visit my son, but he don't want to talk to me right now because I didn't bail him out of jail. So he's mad at me, and that's okay. You can't please everybody, even if you birthed them and help take care of them. I traumatized them in some ways, which I will humidly admit, and I'll just live with it and hope that one day he'll forgive me. So I wanted to share my mentor experience with my YouTube channel here and let you know that I've been on all types of platforms and am looking for new ones all the time because I deleted my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. I got upset with the political stuff, and I thought that it was wrong for them to be deleting content that people wanted to share and express how they felt about things. But yet, they will put other stuff on there and not take that off. You know, how about bullies, you know? People commenting on people's posts and saying rude things and comments. Oh, but those are still on there. That's okay. I was following certain people and I was led to believe and tricked. And I reported them and they didn't delete them. It was just very disturbing. So I'm 41 and I have been in and out of some relationships and was having some, issues with just, I work in healthcare and I've been doing it for 22 years, and I feel that where I'm at in my position of healthcare, I'm not interested in continuing to go to college to make more money and spend more money for schooling. I wanted to make more money, and I thought that, how am I going to do that doing what I'm doing, which I'm good at? But when I get older, the job that I do as a certified nursing assistant is just, after a while, your back is going to hurt and you can only do so much. And I need to take it easy on myself. I can't do it forever. And I just don't see that my retirement is going to be the greatest, but I'll have to live real simply. And so I started searching around and watching videos and looking at other ways to make money, and I found some people of interest. I found that there's a barrel racer that I am in love with and love to follow. Her clothing line is one of my favorites. She does stuff and things of people's not liking and has the courage to do it, and I love it, and it's encouraged me to try new things and do things. And even though a lot of people at the beginning when I started following her, it seemed like they were not liking her or her stuff, and when I bought some of her stuff and I wore it, I got some feedback for sure, and I had to it built courage, and I think that's the way a lot of rodeo attire is. I would like to win a barrel buckle someday, and I wanted to look around, and I found this girl, and I really enjoy watching her and following her. So I started following her so God's my first mentor, I'll tell you that. But I didn't have him to follow until I was ready. Then I came across, this barrel racer because I found something I really love to do, and, I love horses, and I wanted to do something else than just ride around in circles and trail ride. And I found that as in school when I was younger, I didn't enjoy sports very much at all. I tried some and I sucked at them, and I wasn't a good sportsmanship. I'd get mad at basketball, soccer, they red card me, so it wasn't for me. And so horses have always been my thing. I lost track of my love for horses for a while, having the kids and being married and spending my money on stupid shit. And finally, you know, I got to a place where I started following the dream that I had when I was a kid, you know, and amazingly ended up having horses. And then, you know, I upgraded, I've downgraded, and, you know, they weren't always mine, and that's okay. I was still grateful that I was involved and they were in my life. And then now I have one of my own, you know, and what a wonderful feeling it is. So back to the mentors. So I started following this barrel racer, Fallon Taylor. Thank you very much. And she was on a talk show with Ed Mylett. And after her story with Ed Mylett, he has guest speakers on. And so I liked how he brought her on there, and I watched the video after Fallon's that involved Grant Cardone. And I was like, who's this cocky guy? And I thought he was kind of funny, and I could relate to some of the things that he was saying. And I really wanted to make some money. And he is a great salesman, I will tell you that. And I researched him and checked out his, like, what I could find on Google about his money and what he does. And I was checking out his other e-commerce and you know, platforms that he's on, and just started following him and listening to him. And you know, I got encouraged. You know, I hate sales, but he talks all about, you know, doing stuff that you hate to do. You know, talking to people, recording yourself, doing videos every day, being productive, writing down your goals. It really did help change my life. And he's not the only one, but Ty Lopez also was another gentleman that is, you know, kind of in the circle, and Gary Vaynerchuk. I just started doing what they said, you know, start looking at the people that you're surrounded by. And, you know, you always kind of want to put yourself around people who are more successful, or are successful, or have the same interests as you, but continue to grow. And so I looked around my circle, and I was around people that, yes, were doing great things. I mean, healthcare workers, anybody in the healthcare field, you know, thank you so much. It is quite the job. I'm glad to be of service to helping others, even when they are not very happy and they're not very nice and they're withdrawing and they're rude and they try to hit you. I mean, they don't have to be withdrawing. They could be confused. Oh my God, when people are sick, they could just be whiners, or they could be super strong, but they're in so much pain. It's just, there's so much in healthcare that books will never teach you, and that nobody can explain unless you experience it. You can tell some stories and go through some stuff, but oh my gosh, you know, thank you, and God bless everybody who works in healthcare and just in general deals with people, you know, and wants to share their life to others. So here's the thing, mentors. I was following Grant, and I was all excited, and I found out that, you know, it's okay to find something that helps you grow a little bit, but you don't have to continue to keep following them. You know, I signed up for programs. I went to the Growth Con down in Las Vegas right before COVID hit, and that was like, I ended up getting out of a relationship. Thank you, Elena and Grant, because they had this really cool show that they were doing on a channel discussing on how they work together, how they deal with each other, their daily lives, how they're supporting and uplifting and just growing together and getting through this and meeting all of us people and just putting themselves out there and showing and explaining and telling their story, because we all have stories of where they came from, of where we came from. And it was great. It encouraged me to take a really good look at even Fallon and Ed and Gary. If you really listen and pick up some things that you could relate to and look at the situation that you're in and how your attitude is and what you do on a daily basis, take a daily basis of inventory, and look at your priorities and what you want to accomplish in life, or what you would even like in life, and be like, how do I get there? How am I going to do this? You could hate Grant and like our old president, not like him either, but man, how did they get to where they're at, and where is their money? How are they making the money? What kind of stuff are they doing? Where are they at on social media and research? Okay, well, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff that none of us want to do. I never want to be president. I wouldn't care. I'm saying I no matter how much money I have or how much money they have, why I don't want that control. I don't want that responsibility, all the more reason why I don't want to be an RN. I don't want the responsibility of giving somebody medication. It could be the wrong meds. I mean, we fuck up sometimes, and that's the last thing I want to do. I barely even take Midol and Tylenol, and NyQuil can drive me crazy. You can ask a couple of my coworkers. After my GrowthCon, I came back. I was super sick. I took some NyQuil, and it made me feel a lot better, but I went to work the next day, and it's not completely healed out of my system, especially when you drink half a coffee cup full. That's how exhausted I was. I went through a breakup and everything, and I just, came back from Las Vegas, and then I got sick as hell, and I had to continue working. It wasn't no time for sick time, but luckily most of my sickness was on my days off, but I couldn't sleep, so I took some NyQuil, went to work, and then, oh man, my withdrawals, my attitude was terrible. And don't do that. Just follow the instructions. Anyhow, I didn't want the responsibility of nursing, being a nurse, and I didn't want to pay any more money to go to school. That wasn't the type of learning I wanted to learn, I want to learn, and I continue to want to learn on how to be productive with what I'm doing already and what I love. And I do love being a health caregiver, and I have found that it's really sad that we have a very bad nursing home. I just never hear a lot of good things about nursing homes, and that's really sad. And I hear a lot about lack of places for people to stay in homes or apartments that are, really set up for the care or for the space and stuff and things that they need when they're handicapped. And that's really sad. And that's something that I have added on to my goal list one day, is to invest into something that can help provide a roof over our elders' heads. I would like to be a small facility to provide some sort of assistance for people who need help. And I love the care that I give people when they're kind to me. Even if they're not kind, I do have empathy and understanding of what it's like when you're sick, when you hurt yourself, how your pride goes down, and you still no right to treat people wrong or be rude just because you're in so much pain, you know. And in the healthcare world, you gotta kind of let that go over your head. But as I find as I'm getting older, you know, I'm a little bit more honest about, hey, I don't need to be treated that way, and I'm here to help you. And if you want my help, you better be nice, because I really don't have to be here. And so, you know, I could fire myself and go somewhere else, or have someone else help them. I don't have to do it, you know. I may get paid. Yeah, I'm not abandoning them. I'll make sure somebody else can help them. I gotta do what I gotta do to take care of me too, you know, because none of us deserve to be treated like that. And everybody's going through something, you know. I understand that. And it's so true. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is why I'm sharing this, you know. We are all going through stuff, and whether you like it or not, and I never wanted to hear anything from anybody like counselors or, you know, psychologists, psychiatrists. I don't want to hear anything from them, but you know what? I need to make a change on things that have affected my life. And in order to do that, you got to be open to hearing what others have to say sometimes. And you have got to want to make it work for yourself. You have got to try. And you can't just sit around. You can sit around and be a poor me if you want to. But, you know, people will give in to that, yeah. But then there are other times when, you know, the poor me only goes so far, and you got to do something about it if you want to make a change. If you don't make any changes, ain't nothing going to happen. It's always going to be that same old aura all around you, you know. I didn't want that. I wanted to be different. I am different. I had to learn to accept that. You know, I grew up in the city and nobody really had horses around there, and I looked around in my circle of friends and we're all just a bunch of drunks, and it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. So, you know, I had to change. I'm on a road trip because I moved 3 hours away from where I grew up from, because I just wasn't in a community of people that had similar interests and that were growing in a direction that I wanted to grow in. So I moved, and sometimes I thought, oh my God, this was terrible, but I never want to go back to where I was. You know, I want to keep going forward. So, like I said, you find people that are doing things that you like, that you love. What do you love to do? You find out what you love to do, and then you find people who are doing what you love, but doing it better. And then you start following them and then seeing what they're doing, and you do it. You work on that. If you don't like that person, find another person. It's just like churches. I grew up Catholic church, and I went to Catholic school. 1 year I went to public school, and I was in the 6th grade. I got in trouble, and then I wanted to go back to Catholic school. Went back there, and oh boy, I did a lot of more trouble. But I did it. And here I am, finding out that I don't like going to church, and I found out that I don't have to go to church in order to be a follower of God. God loves me anywhere I go. I wasn't even really a follower of God until I started AA. And not AA for the first time, but AA for the second time. First time was non-voluntarily. Second time, I voluntarily started going because I wanted change. Didn't want to go back to the person that I was. I didn't want to be doing the same things that I was, and I couldn't believe all the money I was spending. And you know, I tried church, and I went to JW church because, you know, I always seen those guys coming and knocking on my door and stuff, and I was like, okay, what's this place all about? I'll go check it out, you know, instead of just throwing them off. So I went to go investigate. Woo! I walked in that door, went into the bathroom, and I heard music like we were in a funeral chapel, and it just scared me, and I got out of there, you know. It just didn't feel right. And then as I'm going out the door, they're like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to find God. He's got to help me. It wasn't there. And then I tried Christian, and I tried Baptist, and I went to all these different churches. And hey, they're nice. I mean, I can't put down any of them. They're all so very welcoming, but I just didn't feel comfortable, enough. And maybe I'll find a church that I really enjoy going to or something. But for right now, I still haven't found that place, except for in my books and in my thoughts. I have my church right there. My church is with me right now as I'm preaching to this YouTube video for myself, and it's funny, I was just thinking about one of my TikTok videos and how I said the serenity prayer, as in, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And all of a sudden, I was looking for a radio station, and the first radio station through the mountain pass was a Christian station. And I was like, okay, that was telling me something, that's how I see stuff. I see that we're all put here on earth for a reason. There's a lesson for all of us to learn. And I feel that, if we don't learn that lesson, it's going to repeat. And when the good things come, share them. I may be boring and non-entertaining and rambling on, and that's okay. I hope you heard something that will help you. Something so that way you know that you don't just have to follow advice of what somebody raised you up to be like. If you're not very comfortable, you're not doing very well, find something that you do like. Your mentor could be your parent who's, been successful, or it could be a coworker. It could be anybody you want it to be, really. God is a mentor to me too. I know I can always follow back on him, and I know that he's put these people I've named, who is also special. We're all special to him, and he wants us to get some sort of message somehow, some way or another, and I hope that I'm finding that. I just recently made up my other goal. It's funny too about the goals, you think that once you hit a goal, yeah, wham, bam, you're done. This is the done deal for rest of life. And I found that I've had many goals. I'm repeating my goal. I had a house of my own back when I was married and my kids were younger, and I wanted a horse and a swimming pool. Oh, I got all those. And then I still wasn't happy. It wasn't the things, I got all that. This will do it. My marriage is going to be great. I'm going to be happy for the rest of my life and retire and grow old. And it didn't. No, that's not what happened. I got into 2 other relationships and breakups, and here I am again on the road to another adventure in life, because I didn't look at the signs and think of myself as valuable as I was. I just figured, I'm just gonna have to deal with this. This is just how my life is gonna be. And that was my train of thought when I was in these relationships, that I just let myself, think that, I'll just have to settle for this, and no. After a while, I was just like, why am I putting up with this? Why did I let this go on so long? The part of where I have to really congratulate relationships and helping me get out of where I was, to recognize that I needed to move on from the signs were already there to begin with. They were there at the beginning. When I look back at the relationships, they were there in the beginning, you know? And if it weren't for me wanting to reach out and start soul searching for myself, you know, taking care of myself and following some steps that I read in those AA books, I just, you know, don't know where I'd be. You know, my mom, bless her heart, you know, didn't have a whole lot of relationships that I got to see her experience, and none of her past experiences as I was growing up with relationships is her fault about my relationships. You know, it was about my choices and stuff. I'm glad that she was so strong and didn't, you know, keep getting in relationships and then twined up with men who were like, you know, just telling her things and then not being honest about it or whatever, you know. Good for her. I'm grateful. I wish I would have been more stronger about that and not have been looking for a partner all the time, you know. I found that I could get along with men more than I could some women because I just am unique in my own ways, and you know, it's okay not to have a lot of friends, as I have found out from my mentors that I've been following around. You know, having my small little circle of friends, which is very, very small, is okay, you know. But in this world, we can't do this shit alone. That's why we all watch YouTube videos, we're watching TikTok, you're scanning on Facebook, you're watching Snapchat. You know, you're finding stuff of your interests that you like to do, that we like to do. You know, finding more communities of people that you're interested in. So here I am. I'm on my way to go see my family, which I don't know if I'll be able, I'll be able, but I don't know if I'm going to drive back over to see them again before I take off in June when I leave to my new state of Idaho. My fiance and I, we bought some property and we're doing it. I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice June 31st or May 31st, and I will be moving. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I love change, you know. It's not easy. Oh, hell no. It's not going to be easy. Dude, we're not even going to be, our house isn't even going to be completely done yet. We're going to set up a hunting cabin tent. I forgot what he called them, but it's got, you can put a stove in it and you can put little dividers in it, but it's a tent, like a cavalry tent, canvas tent, a huge canvas tent we're going to live in while we build our house, you know. And I don't care. I mean, we're going to rent a porta pot, you know, to use, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I feel like we're gonna, I mean, it's like, you know, living in Tent City in Seattle, or, you know, like, I don't know, in every town it seems like everybody wants to put tents, free camping in front of the jailhouses and stuff, you know. I mean, why don't they go out to the country and live out that way? Oh, I wonder. I don't want to be so judgmental, but I'm okay with going way out to the country where there's less people and living life in a way more simply, but not, you know. Camping is not simple living. It is not. But I'm okay with that. And the hard work that is involved around life is how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy, and there are going to be people who are kind, there are going to be people who are not kind, and it's been like that since biblical days. If family members are going to turn against you or not talk to you, want to kill you, and it's been like that since the biblical days. I mean, oh my gosh. because I'm still here, you know? And I am okay with that. I look forward to the adventures. I look forward to life. I look forward to improving myself all the time, trying to be a better person. So, talking about being a better person and humility and the faults that I have, and some of these mentors who talk about, you know, sometimes you have to, my AA mentor book, I have, reading is another thing that I like to do. Actually, I don't like reading, but I have been doing it because I don't like it, and, you know, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and doing things that you don't like to do. And I started reading, and reading is good for you. So much better sometimes. But then it's funny because, you know, I went to a library, could not believe how many books they were lacking of stocks. What was the book I was asked for them? I asked for a book and they said they didn't have it, you know. They have Rich Dad, Poor Dad there. And then I found the one with Lewis Holmes. I've been watching some of Lewis Holmes, and I got his book, to the Book of Greatness. So I've been reading that. And they all got stories. Like, I mean, this is the thing. They say, figure out your story, write a book, and, you know, go with that. And so, this is what it, and so, I mean, they say it, and I was like, okay, they are making money. You know, Lewis Holmes was a football player, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he grew up in Hawaii and was a poor kid and wanted to live like the richer kids there on the island. And, you know, and he literally, like, tried to make money, and his dad told him it was, like, illegal to make money because he was saving the stuff from toothpaste things. I haven't finished them, but I have both of them with me on my way over here, so I figured when I have some free time, I'll read the book, you know, before bed and stuff. I'll read a couple pages, and I try not to overwhelm myself, but, you know, read their stories, see what they're about. And, I mean, they're humans, little kids, and they started off somewhere like all of us, you know, and can't blame anybody but yourself. Once you figure this stuff out, you can't blame anybody but yourself for not taking action. Did that help? Maybe I should leave it right there and shut the fuck up. Okay, that's what I'll do.